Oh, we're live. Hello, everyone. It's the one and only notorious, glorious V, the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live. We have El Cuco today working the airwaves, making sure this broadcast comes out crispy and clean. And we have none other than the dynamic duo, the crypto crusaders themselves, the one and only Cowboy and Z. You can find them over at thecryptoschool.io, thecryptoschool.io, and the Watch Us Trade room, where all types of gains, as the Hodge twins would say, all kinds of gains are being done right there in the Crypto School. And we have Frank Delala calling me while we're live on the air. Let me just take this call. Hold on one second, folks. Frank, you're live on the air. I decided to take the call. Yeah.
I didn't think you were going to be on.
Oh, of course. You have a habit of calling me every time I'm on the air, Frank.
I thought you weren't going to be on this.
You're the worst. You're the worst, but I love you. The worst.
All right, have a good show, guys.
All right. Okay, bye-bye. That's Frank Delala, folks. That's Frank. There it is. Jeez. With that being said, what's up, guys? What's going on?
Oh man, we're just we had a week without shows. We had a kind of a holiday week, and then we were really trying to put together this platform for everybody. We really focused on that last week. So things are really exciting. Z, how are you feeling, bud?
I'm feeling good. Things are exciting. I released an opportunity last week, guys, that was exclusive to the Watch Trade Room. Everybody who got into that opportunity is already up, essentially 45%.
Wow.
And the thing hasn't even finished. Its sale is still going on, but whoever went through me essentially in Watches Trade has been up 45% already. So that is fantastic, guys. And I've got a feeling this opportunity is going to be a huge one for the future to come. So congrats to those who got in. I know a lot of the Watches Trade Room did get in. I think more than 2/3 of it got in. So it's a very, very big deal, guys. And I think that we did really well. And I'm very, very excited for it. Just to let everybody know who's tuning in, we will have more opportunities like this coming up. And, we've got the Venn ICOs coming around. And we've got one-chain ICOs. We've got all these great ICOs coming around. And, those are going to be exclusive to Watch Us Trade. So come join us, guys. That's just an added perk that we just, I'm just throwing into the mix.
Well, yeah, this is what I think people need to appreciate. Like, it's one thing to come on and find some trades and make some money and all that. But Crypto Z and to a degree myself have spent many months and technically years building some relationships in this space. And some of the relationships that Z has, you are now able to leverage. And that's just that's something that you're just not going to find. It's actually rather generous that Crypto Z would open that up. So it's a great opportunity.
Yes, it is very generous of you, Z. Very generous.
You're welcome.
And you've done this all without throwing chicken bones and stuff, which is
no chicken bones, guys. This is gonna be awesome. As I'll let people know the name of the coin later on, so they can check it up themselves. But you guys, I'll give you guys a little hint later at the end of the show. Which ICO I got into, which ICO I really think is gonna do really well, and sort of the bonus that we got. For being, in this Watch Us Trade Room. But yeah, so let's continue along with the charts.
Yeah. So
where do you guys want to begin?
Bitcoin, I think, is probably the best place to begin.
Yes. Holy hokaloo, it's 7,500.
Yeah. Bitcoin had a rebound, and it rebounded from how many? Okay, let's do a pop quiz. For how many weeks did I say Bitcoin would hit a certain number, and what number was that?
You were like saying the 5 weeks, man. 6 weeks out. You were like talking about 7,200.
Yes.
Right?
So, between 7,000 and 7,200. That's the range I had, and it actually went down to 70.39 or low sevens, depending on which exchange you're looking at. So before it hit 10,000, your boy, the Crypto Cowboy, called that it would hit 10,000 and drop, and that was for weeks before that, and then. After it hit 10,000, even before it did, I was saying it was going to hit 10 and it was going to bounce off of 7. And that's just what it did. So now, so far I'm right. And I hope that I stay correct. It's so funny because I just make these calls and I'm usually right, but I'm not always right. However, shoot, I've been right a lot lately, and I don't know. I don't think it's because I'm so talented. I think I'm just obsessed. Sit there and stare at this thing all day long. How could I not know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely not.
You know, if you're looking at this stuff as much as I do, if you love the stuff as much as I do, and if you love charts in general as much as I love charts, this is my background's charted for years. So I'd like to say it's because I'm amazing, but quite frankly, I think it's just because I fit. And you know, Z's right up there. Z's got the same levels as I do. So to get into this and why we think all of those things are happening like they do, we're going to come out to the long chart. And for anybody who's been watching the show, they've been watching me draw this chart for months now. I made a slight change though. We dipped a little bit lower than I thought we would. So this dotted line is my old bottom. Let me expand this screen. This dotted line is my old lower bound to this symmetrical triangle, right? And it actually dipped a little bit lower than that. And that's kind of where I was stuck more on 72 than 7. Although, like I said, I've been saying somewhere between 70 and 72. So the reality is that our new ascending trend line is what I just drew, and I'm going to draw it in blue. So it's pretty close to what I've been drawing. And if that's the case, then, and I drew this weeks ago, these arrows that you see here have been on there for a long time. And I'm going to zoom in so that we can see that it actually is following my plot. Didn't go, I thought it would stop in the 72 area, went a little bit lower, and then it bounced right off, and it's headed right up towards here, which is the mid 80s. So I've been kind of thinking like 8,600 around there is going to be where we go up to and bounce off of. So, I don't know, V or Z, do you guys see, like, am I missing anything, or does that look
No,
good?
it looks good. It's exactly what I'm seeing right there. I see it popping up. I actually see as it gets closer and closer to this end of its wedge, it actually there's been some more bullish news. The overall essay of the entire market is sort of shifting a little bit more bull lately. I think it's because of there were some bigger players coming into various coins and cryptocurrencies, which is essentially going to help Bitcoin also, since Bitcoin is the father coin. And because of these big players coming in, then you get the normies coming in, which is essentially going to, I think, could cause a nice little rise with Bitcoin. I think we could see upwards of even 9K. So we'll see.
I hope so. And that would make a lot of sense. I agree from like an SA, FA standpoint, and from a TA standpoint, even whenever you see a wedge like this, and if you look back, I'm going to kind of scrunch the screen down a little bit. I think it's kind of common knowledge that Bitcoin's just been going up for 10 years. So you have an overall bullish sentiment, right? So all the way back here, headed up the channel, that's what we're looking at, overall bullish. We've had some bearishness here, obviously, but overall, we're still running up this ascending trend line. And that trend line goes way back. So what I'm thinking is that if left alone, then Bitcoin would certainly rise and eventually go up to some of its old highs. Now, the only caveat here is that what I know about the banking system is that, they don't want some new weird currency messing up their game. So the way that the banks make their money is in the derivatives market. And so they have all these assets that, I'm just going to make up some numbers. Let's just say that there's like a $50 billion market space of, I don't know, we'll just say XYZ tech, some kind of a sector, right? And what they'll do is they'll create derivatives, which essentially turn $50 billion of like market space into $500 billion of tradable market space, because they actually have these contracts that are just people betting each other. And the derivatives market really is there's like trillions of dollars out there that just like don't exist in the market because of the derivatives market. And they want, I think, to compress Bitcoin down, sort of calm it down to where it's more stable so that they can fit it into their derivative scheme. I know, V, that's something that you might be able to speak on. And I think you and I have had some of the similar people in similar businesses saying that 10,000 is probably going to be it for Bitcoin. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, as long as King Dollar is in play, as long as the Western banking system still has their corrupt, disgusting, withered hands into the pot, they're going to make sure you're not going to see another 20,000 run up for a while, unless you see severe danger in the dollar. You see, when these players started moving into the Bitcoin market a few years ago, the entire thing was to have, to really, bring this horse to heel. And that's what they've been doing ever since then. They've been range locking this thing. I don't see a run up until you see dollar weakness. And that dollar weakness is going to happen with all the significant events that are happening with the East, with China, with the New Silk Road, with the petro yuan, with the gold trade settlement. When that dollar hegemony is challenged, that's when you're going to see Bitcoin start rising again. So until then, I don't see any big rise.
And that rise and that dollar hegemony, look, let's get real for a minute. China makes a lot of money selling us her stuff. So a complete demolition of the dollar is really not, in my opinion, in China's interest. I think China and everybody else, they want to see a slow rise in the economy. I think ultimately China understands that a healthy U.S. economy is healthy for China as well. I don't think it's just because there's such nice people over there. I think that they just understand mutual interest. So I don't think that they're just going to want to F the dollar out of nowhere. I think America would have to do something pretty bad for them to cause that problem.
The only thing is the only people that are effing the dollars ourselves. We're the only ones that are, people say, oh, China's a currency manipulator. We're the biggest currency manipulator on the planet. You talk about QE1, QE2, QE3, QE infinity, TARP, TWIST, ZERP, NERP. The list goes on and on and on. And then with the unwanted wars, and again, the handwriting's on the wall. See, when you talk about, let's say, the New Silk Road, and this is something crazy that most people don't realize. We throw a term out, New Silk Road. We throw out a term, One Belt, One Road initiative. And people quite don't understand the monumental amount of money that's involved in this. $8 trillion is what's being spent on the development of this entire project. $8 trillion. Trade agreements. If China really did care about the U.S., they wouldn't be signing multi-hundreds of billions of dollar trade agreements with Russia. They wouldn't create a CIPS, which is a China interpayment system, which is a rival to SWIFT. They wouldn't create an IMF derivative called the AIIB. They wouldn't create a World Bank derivative called the NDB. They wouldn't be creating all these alternative systems if their whole entire thing is, okay, you know what? We know that the dollar's a ticking time bomb. They want a good and prosperous U.S. economy. Don't get me wrong. Having a good and prosperous U.S. economy and having a strong dollar at this point of the game, literally, it's two different things. Because the strong dollar is attached to some very, very nefarious players. And they're the ones who are, calling the shots currently, to some degree. That's going to be removed. I think we're heading into a new global economic reset. I think the new dollar, which we'll have at some point, is going to be devalued. It's going to devalue anywhere between 40 to 60% is the range we're seeing, and we could possibly have a two-currency system. Dr. Jim Lee speaks about it often. I had a source in the Netherlands who claimed to have actually seen the new dollar, supposedly over there. I can't verify that at all. But people say, well, there's a two-currency system. How's that possible? Well, it's been done before. It's been done in China. It's also been done in currently being done in Cuba. So there could be a one currency, $1 for basically a dollar for trade settlement, and a dollar for domestic use. So that's the future. It's a mess. But do they need the American consumer market? No, they don't need the American consumer market at all.
Well, I think that's the reason that they're building what they're building. I think that they would like to continue to profit off of the American consumer market.
Oh, yeah. What they're doing right now is they're taking the profits in U.S. treasuries, dumping the treasuries into various products, paying for the development of the Silk Road in the U.S. dollars, which is brilliant maneuver on their part. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a nice FU, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So I mean, that whole program is going to take quite a while to build. I think in the meantime, like you said, a healthy American economy is in the interest of China. I think that Bitcoin is going to remain at 10,000 in my eyes for the time being. and it's going to remain below 10,000. If it goes above that, that's awesome. That means we get to make a bunch of money in cryptos. In the meantime, it's on its way up to I think 8,600 before it falls again. If we do have, like, say, if we're left alone, a wedge like this that I have on the screen generally is going to pop up with bullish sentiment. And that's what we have. We have a bullish sentiment. We have a symmetrical wedge. We have consolidation after a massive run up to 19.5. So naturally, this would pop upward. And the retracement on this, I mean, we've done the math before. 23,000 like would be a natural run up. We have this decreasing volume in the wedge. Things are starting to get real quiet down here. That's when the bears in this case are probably going to get tired. The bulls will get tired too, but not quite as fast as the bears. And then the bulls will kick in, and then the other bulls will come out of the woodwork when everybody sees that going on. And that's how these wedges work. To look up close at Bitcoin was interesting. Last night, I saw the sign, and I sold my Bitcoin right about 7,700 when I kind of saw things like going down. Basically, I was going to go to sleep. I told everybody for their own entertainment purposes only, not for any financial gain. This is all just for fun. But I told everybody in the call room, I said, hey, you know what? My alts all just stopped out. First, I said, I'm going to set stops. I feel like Bitcoin's going to fall tonight. It's in a rising wedge. Those tend to be bearish. So because of that, I'm going to put stop losses on my alts. And then like an hour later, I look at my phone on my phone app, and I surely was stopped out of all my alts. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then if that's the case, then I'm going to go into fiat. Of course, a lot of people, who do cryptos, they use like Tether or maybe True USD. And basically I told everybody I'm getting out. And overnight I made half a Bitcoin because I got out, and it dropped all the way down to where it is. So I think it's going to go to 7,300. I think it's going to find some support around 7,500 because that's basically that's a support range. I think it's going to go up a bit, and then I think it's going to go down. It might even test this trend line, or possibly I don't think it's going to go back up to 7,700 though. I think that's a little rich. I think it might hit 76 maybe, and then fall down to 73, and time will tell. So I don't know, does V or Z, anybody see anything different than
no, that's what I see with Bitcoin. I mean, I see it rising a little higher than that, but yeah, overall around the same range.
Yeah, I mean, even if somebody was to be conservative and just get back in right now, then if that's the case, they just made themselves like a nice little percentage just by getting out at that time. So it's a win, right?
Yeah. For me personally, I've been trading in and out of alts. I went into, I was in at EOS rise, went into BNB, back into EOS, back into BNB, and now I'm just chilling in BNB, and I've made some good money that way. So Cowboy and I are adopting a little bit different strategies. He's in BTC and USD, and I'm in alts and BTC. So.
Actually, we switched strategies because it used to be Z that would more kind of get out. And then, and now it's me who's getting out. Although yesterday, the only time that I'm actually getting into fiat is when I see a big drop in Bitcoin coming. Yesterday, I worked pretty much the whole day. I know usually we don't work on the weekends, but I don't know. I felt like working. So, and my time was free. So I got on, and all day I was actually between Ven and Bitcoin Cash. That's where I made a nice percentage yesterday, and I was updating everybody like constantly. BNB was a call that we made in the room maybe, I don't know, Z, a couple weeks ago. I think we called.
Yeah, about a week and a half ago. BNB's call was roughly at 16. BNB rose all the way up to 19.5, I believe, or 19.3. So BNB has been doing extremely strong. The FA on BNB is really good right now. The FA on BNB essentially calls for a token burn. No one knows the exact date, but the exact date is roughly, I think, going to be June 15th is when we're going to see that token burn, which is going to eliminate even more of the supply of BNB tokens. BNB is actually a very miraculous token, guys. If you guys actually look at coin market cap and you look at BNB in terms of Satoshi value, in terms of its value against Bitcoin, BNB has not really slowed down. It had a really all-time high before, roughly in January, as most coins did. And of course, it dropped a little bit. But since then, it's been on a tear upwards, and it hasn't slowed down. It's been consistently rising up, and the reason for it is because that exchange is just incredible. It's an incredible exchange. It's ultimately, in my opinion, I think it's the best exchange on the market. And as soon as China's ban on ICOs and so forth gets lifted from the whole crypto space, BNB is going to be another big player. Originally, BNB was supposed to be a platform as well to develop coins on. Tron was supposed to be developed on BNB, and various other tokens. Of course, they had to put that on the side because of the whole China FUD, but it doesn't mean that it's been wiped off the table. And I think recently BNB's CEO was listed in Fortune magazine as like a front runner for innovation. So very cool stuff.
Oh yeah, the reason that I called BNB when I did was because I was actually looking at the chart, and this is what Z was talking about. With it just pretty much just goes up. Gotta love those coins that pretty much just go up over time. And see, BNB is an interesting coin, right? So what is it? There's what it was originally supposed to be, and then there's kind of what it is now. And what it is now is when you go to Binance to trade, it costs 0.1%. That's what it costs. So if you trade 100, or let's just say if you trade 100 VEN, then you're going to end up paying 0.1% of that 100 VEN. Now, if you hold BNB, which is Binance's coin, if you hold that, then instead of paying 0.1%, you pay 0.05%. So all your fees are cut in half from holding BNB. So it doesn't matter which way the market is swinging, as long as it's swinging. So if you have like a hard swing up or even a hard swing down, you're going to see BNB rise because it's being used so much. So BNB is literally affected by volume trading. And then also at the end of, like Z was talking about, you have the quarterly burn, which is approximately on the 15th. And that's supposedly very possibly coming up right now. To look at the entire TA for this coin, it's kind of tricky. I almost the TA for BNB is like bullish coin. So it's almost as if like your FA on BNB is always bullish. It's like a gift. Like you just don't find that. When you see something like that, you pay strict attention. I called it back here is where I called BNB in this area, and then it jumped up to here, and then we called it again, and it jumped up to here. And so we're seeing consistent profits, but what we're also seeing is an ascending wedge. And this resistance point of approximately, well, you can see it wicked up this high, so I'm going to move this up a bit. It's a nice even 200,000 Satoshi resistance, right? And with the way that this is, literally, it's like there's a magnet above this area, and it's just drawing it up, and it's getting closer and closer. You guys, it is a matter of time before this goes. And one way to look at where it could go is using a Fibonacci retracement. Although, again, I'm real hesitant with BNB. I'm a little bit hesitant because it doesn't always behave the same as other assets. But if we were going to use this, we could have our first target somewhere around 240,000 Satoshi. Next, somewhere around 300,000. Now, considering that I think we heard about BNB Crypto Z and I back at 3,000, that's 100 times, that's 100x that we would hit right here. We're already at like 65x. So, or is that 1,000x CMI? No, it's, yeah, 65x. So we're going to get up to 100x probably in the next, like, I would say by the end of the summer, maybe the beginning of the fall or somewhere around there. I think we could see all the way up here. It's very exciting stuff. VEN, made a lot of money on VEN yesterday. But, you know, I had called it, oh, shoot, I have to go back to my calls to see where I called it. But I had called it kind of down here, and I thought it was actually going to like stop rising right at about like this 51 area, So I actually sold right here, or actually it was like at 53 I sold, and it actually kept going up, and then it bounced back down, and I did tell everybody I thought it was going to bounce back down right here, and then Bitcoin started to falter, so we're seeing this kind of this slope downwards. So that's that on Venn. But our room was, I was live calling it, hey, I'm getting in here, I'm getting out there, I'm getting in here, I'm getting out there, and I literally was like sitting there typing, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, while everybody was watching. And it's kind of an entertaining thing to know, to watch me like do this, or watch Crypto Z do this and make money. And a lot of times everybody in the room, like their research ends up looking exactly like ours, and all of like where they invest their money ends up looking exactly like ours, which means all their profits look exactly like ours. So it's kind of fun to do that. Z, I know you're like, you know a lot about Venn, you know a lot about the FA. So I figured I might ask you, like, what do you see coming for Venn?
Well, all right. So from a TA standpoint, for starters, I see Venn, what's it called? Trying to break out from that upper trend line. It should break out here shortly, guys. Venn is a very strong month when it comes to FA. Right now, we've got the mainnet coming out. Roughly, actually, really soon. The mainnet's supposed to be coming out here. Here, I actually have a posting out. The mainnet for Venn is supposed to be coming out June 30th. So in 26 days, guys, Venn is supposed to release its mainnet. With its mainnet comes a series of really goodness, essentially, right? That's where the masternodes come in play, in which Thor will be able to start being generated. Apparently, that's what they say. For those of you who don't know that are inside the room, I currently am offering a Venn masternode program where you can get involved in a Venn X node, which will not only give you the maximum amount of returns for your Thor, but also give you exclusive access towards ICOs that Venn are going to be listing. And there's going to be 2 ICOs in which I think are going to do absolutely incredible coming up, and I will be going personally myself very large into those 2. But you have to be inside the Watch as Trade or inside the Venn Masternode program in order to get availability into this. So get in while you can, guys. This Venn program closes in 11 days. So Venn's got its mainnet releasing on the 30th. With that comes all of its ICOs. And the first major ICO in which I'm taking a look at right now is going to be BitOcean. Do yourselves a favor, guys. Take a look at BitOcean, look it up, and I would highly, highly suggest you guys read into BitOcean. BitOcean is going to have a lot of press behind it, and it's going to be a very, very big deal in the crypto world. It is just going to be huge, and I think all eyes are on Venn, as we saw from Consensus. And I think it's going to do really well. So that's what's happening with Venn this month. So I think this month you could see Venn slowly start trending upwards in its overall trend, I guess you would say. You're really going to start seeing some nice price action, especially when those ICOs start launching out.
Yeah. So, and what's interesting from a pure state TA standpoint, normally I would bet on this. This is a diamond top. And normally I would bet on this breaking down. In fact, a breakdown on this is a 69% probability of a breakdown. It's also a 31% probability of a breakup. Now, given the FA being so strong on Venn, the ICOs, all eyes on Venn, I'm actually betting on a breakup. And that's where basically, if you could have all of the TA and charting skills in the world, but if you know nothing about what's happening with the coin, and if you don't have like business partners like Crypto Z, then you might be making like the bad decision. So in this case, I'm actually planning on a breakup, even though the probability is less than half of that of a breakdown. Now, on a break upwards, on the average break upwards, what you're looking at is a 20% gain. It's like 21% actually on a diamond top breakout upwards. So a 20% gain. Ask me why I know these things. I don't know. It's just what I like to do. You're looking at, let me see, 51K sats. So that's up to, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, what's a fifth of that? That's up to like 60,000 Satoshi, roughly. So you could like, to chart this, and we call Venn all the time. So essentially, like, we'll just call this a free call for the show. Knowing that that average break up is in a 60% rise. And then you have these resistances right here to deal with. These are the areas where you encounter a potential group of bag holders who want to sell right here at these resistances. Then I would create a structure to sell. If it was a normal coin, nothing special like Ven, then I would essentially have my sell area right here, because you'll hit this, you might get rejected right here, so you take some profit. You might get rejected right there, so you take some profit. And then 60,000 is kind of our top of the range, so just hopefully you get this third target and you're stoked. But with Ven being so strong on the FA as a midterm call, right, not as a short-term call, not as something I want to collect profits on this week, but maybe next week, I would actually raise my sell point. I would be a little more aggressive, and I would create my sell points between, say, roughly 55,000 Satoshi and say 58, 59,000. 58 is kind of safe. So that's like a free call. Don't ever say we did nothing for you. Now, I'm not going to go into any more TA in today's show, because I just wanted to see, for the viewers who are not like part of our room, what kind of stuff goes in to how Crypto Z and Crypto Cowboy do their calls. This is the kind of stuff we know, the probabilities, the reason, the FA. We're not just sitting here like playing around, having fun. This is what we do, and this is what we like doing. VZ, do you guys see anything else on Ven that you want to talk about?
No. On the money, buddy.
No, Ven looks good. I think Ven's gonna have a really good month, guys.
Now I know that V loves Bitcoin Cash. So do I. I'm like a Roger Ver fan, and I know he's kind of crazy. A lot of people don't like him, but Bitcoin Cash is sort of like what Bitcoin was supposed to become, right? Made a bunch of money on it yesterday. And somebody in the room actually had eyes on it. They're like, hey, Cowboy, can you take a look at Bitcoin Cash? And so I did, and I saw an opportunity. We got in, I think we got in like around this level, right at this flag right here. And we ended up selling. I thought we would see a rejection in this area. I thought it would go a little bit higher, but Bitcoin sort of like ruined the party. So we all just kind of took profit, maybe like a quick 4%. And that's great, on a day like yesterday when everything starts to go down. And so that's Bitcoin Cash for you. I know that typically after Bitcoin pumps, you see like a post pump with Bitcoin Cash. So it's always good to take a look at that. And then if the Bitcoin pump is hard enough, then you actually could expect like Bitcoin Diamond and Bitcoin Gold and all the other sort of hangers on to pump as well. Now in the future, Bitcoin Cash, when it pumps, let me tell you, the thing pumps. And I do, Bitcoin right now may go through a slight correction. I think it's going to go through correction and go back up like we talked about earlier. So I would look to around 0.19 as like where it's going to go if it can pass this 0.16. So now nothing happens in a straight line in crypto. This is a very simplified version of what I think will happen. I think it's going to play in this area for a while, maybe even kind of around here. But you can see with this Kumo cloud, this bull flip and some of the other indicators, especially right here, where you have a slight curl up in MAC, this green candle is like the result of Bitcoin not falling past like the 75 mark. I think Bitcoin's going to fall to 73-ish. So as soon as we see that, I'm going to buy Ven, probably some Yuan, and a few other coins we're not going to talk about here because we're going to save that for the room. But that's Bitcoin Cash. And ZV, do you guys see anything else on Bitcoin Cash that you want me to talk about? Or
no, Bitcoin Cash is an interesting little animal. I know that you guys are fans of Roger Ver. I'm okay with it. Bitcoin Cash. The essay on Bitcoin Cash overall, in terms of the regular average investor, is negative. People don't like Bitcoin Cash, but that doesn't mean the institution money doesn't like Bitcoin Cash. And ultimately, institution money is what makes the market move. The average person really doesn't really influence a large coin like Bitcoin Cash that has such a high market cap. So interesting stuff for Bitcoin Cash.
So the last thing that I wanted to look at was, there's a few things, but there's something that's really important, and it's kind of like what sets. Well, there's so many things that set us apart. the stuff that Z does in the room, there's no one that does what Z does. I'm telling you, I've seen it. The level that Z does it to, other people like, do similar things with these opportunities with, Venn and knowing what the ICOs are. But I've been around. I'm a member of a lot of rooms from the past. Nobody does it like Z. There's another thing that happens in our room that you're not really going to see too many other places. I've seen one or two guys call the Bart Simpson heads correctly, and I'm like one of those two guys. And it's not because I'm so special. It's actually because me and some of my buddies sat down and figured it out one afternoon. And it's some of the people that Z knows as well. And so essentially, Bitcoin has this, it's called a momentum ignition algorithm. And the true formula, like the long version of what I do, we actually shared for free in the show like a week or two ago. So feel free to go back because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this today. We just don't have that time. But these dips and jumps that you see, this is not natural. Okay. There's no assets that move like this naturally. This is done with what's called a momentum ignition algorithm. It's a market abuse algorithm. There's no good use for it except for the people who run it to make money. So what they do is they will basically cause, like they'll take a look at where the sentiment is going. So, the short-term sentiment is turning bullish right here. So they will, basically put a bunch of big orders in and do a bunch of monkey business to push this up. And then what they'll do is they'll have buys, they'll have shadow buys hanging out like right about here. And there's a lot of people who have like stop losses in the margin game. And when those kick in, they'll buy and then they'll push it all the way up here and then they'll sell. And then they'll have their buy orders ready down here. And it's just a cycle where these people, it's market abuse. It literally is. So look, there's something I learned a long time ago. I'm not here to like play a game that I want to play. I'm here to play the game that there is to play. And so me and some guys kind of talked one afternoon and we figured out the formula to a decent degree of probability of these Bart Simpson heads. Now, anybody who's in the room right now, anybody who's like watching the show in the room, feel free to share with everybody just how accurate I've been over especially the last several days where we've been seeing a lot of this. If you know anybody that can call a Bart Simpson head like I can, I'd love to talk to him because I need to improve my skills. I'm not perfect, but it's going pretty well. And if he can predict when these things are going to happen to any degree of probability, then you profit to that same degree of probability. And I'm definitely in the positive on this one. So just another thing to understand without going into like the technical details, this is the level that we have in the room. The level that we have is with Z doing his thing, me doing my thing here. Somebody wants like a specific chart, as long as we have the time for it, we'll actually literally chart it. Like, hey, can you tell me what's going on with ontology? Can you chart ontology? Yeah. Like 9 times out of 10, I'll have the time for it. And I'll chart it for you. Like, hey, this is what I see happening. This is what's going on. I might have to talk to Z a little bit about what might be happening with the coin if I can't find anything on the internet. But that's what we do. We're a killer service. We're worth like, I don't know, Z, what do you think we're worth a month compared to what other people do?
Oh, I mean, there's rooms out there. I mean, in the space, guys. The average room right now is about 400 a month. On the lower end, on the higher end, and I actually know a bunch of these guys, and I know Excavo and whatnot. And I talk with these guys on a regular basis. These guys charge $1,200 a month now. It's that's how much it costs. It's $1,200 a month, and these, like, I think Excavo shoots out probably about 8 calls a month. He's accurate. He's good. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's very, very strong TA, very, very strong FA and whatnot. But he shoots out about 8 calls a month. You don't get a chance to talk with him. You don't get a chance to ask him questions. You don't ever talk with him really. And he doesn't do any pools or anything. He doesn't do any special features. It's just him, his call room. Just him and his call room, and that's about it, guys. And you've got 1,000 plus other people in his call rooms, and so you better pray that you get into the call early, because what's going to happen is that you're going to buy in, and there's going to be 3,000 people buying in with you, and then he releases it out to free, and then you've got another like 10,000 people buying in after you, which causes the market to pump up. So those kind of groups are good sometimes, but at the same time, it's $1,200 a month, guys. and you're not getting that personal sort of interaction with him. And yeah, that's just how it is.
Well, okay, so the ICO pool, right? Already up, you know, a certain percent. Like,
yeah, it's already up. It's already. So I'll just give you guys a little heads up. So recently we pulled for a coin called Mandala, and the reason why I'm able to do this is because I'm not a U.S. citizen, guys. It's just that simple. I'm not a U.S. citizen. That's just how it is. So I don't fall in those jurisdictions. I'm allowed to do this, and that's because and that's been completely vetted out by the Mandala team. So I was pulling for Mandala. We ended up getting a 55% bonus, and it was great. It was just simple as that, guys. It was great. I was able to get a 55% bonus. If you try to get Mandala itself as like try to get into the ICO. The ICO is happening right now. You can get into the ICO. However, the first stage of the ICO was at 25%. So we're already getting 30% more than the average purchaser buying in on the website. That's because I'm able to pool large amounts and I'm able to use my influence in this market towards getting these pre-sale deals, and that's how all the biggest accredited investors, that's how all the biggest guys get in, right? Essentially, you're getting into early access into Coinbase. You're an early investor. So I was able to do this. I was able to generate a 55% bonus, and right now, currently, if you try to buy Mandala, it is at only 10%. So right now, whoever got into Mandala is already coming in at a 45% extra gain already off the bat. And Mandala was open tomorrow and you guys could trade tomorrow, then you guys would already be 45% up, against your average trader. And that's how the big boys play, guys. That's how the big boys play. So as how I always like to approach my trading, I always like to be proactive with my trading and not reactive. You guys have heard me say this many, many times before. And this is why I scour the crypto space for opportunities like Mandala, which I vetted through and through, and I think is going to be an amazing exchange and opportunity later in the future. We've got the Venn ICOs in which, even though Venn has all these ICOs coming on, everybody's all bullish about Venn. I've only really chosen 2 to 3 ICOs in which I will be, essentially pooling for Venn. That's it, 2 to 3. Even though Venn is going to be releasing 6 to 8 pretty quickly, back to back. And that's just hours and hours of reading, guys. And, once again, this is going to be exclusive to the Watch Us Trade Room. So don't miss out, guys.
Yeah, it's what we are being offered here. It's unparalleled. That's all there is to it. So it's like this kind of stuff sells itself. I mean, just go take a look at the in the live chat in YouTube and talk to the guys and the gals who are in there, who are already in our room, who are already experiencing, the level of success that we are with either the calls or the pools or anything like that. Say, hey, is it worth it? Should I come check it out? For sure. We're going to tell you, yeah, but listen to the people who are already in there.
Yeah, like look, Danny Ever, he's already up. He's been in the Watch Us Trade Room for a few months, guys, and he's up over 100%. And up 100% over hodling. He's already up, guys, 100% off of his gain. So you can either choose to hodl right there and slowly let your portfolio bleed, as we all know that there's certain individuals out there that are calling Litecoin to be like $300 by now. I mean, it's now June. It's now June 4th. Where's Litecoin currently at right now? Litecoin is currently at $119. It actually went down from what he predicted. So you got Crypto Lizard over there saying that Schizo Lizard saying that it's going to be $400 or whatever, however bogus number he's
Gypto Liver.
Yeah, Gypto Liver, along with White Glove, the psychic, and there you go, guys. We called it from day one. Guys, that Litecoin was going to drop down, that it was going to be based off of Bitcoin, and it's only been following Bitcoin. And as I told you guys, I read you guys out the support levels in which I saw, and it fell through them. And I told you guys, hey, look, next support level is going to be this. Hey, next support level is going to be this. And this is based on technical analysis. This is not chicken bones. This is just solid technical analysis, guys. And we use these tools to determine where to put our money. It's just that simple, guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just brought up the Litecoin chart right now. It looks pitiful. I mean, we have this, this lower trend line that's like a support, and it literally fell through that support, which was one of the things I thought I might do. It actually seems to be sort of like hanging around that support. So, that's not so bad.
It has to hang around that support, man. If it doesn't hang around that support, Litecoin is going to take a massive plummet down to sub $100, guys. You're going to see Litecoin revert back to like its November state or December or wherever Litecoin decide to wake up a little bit. You're going to see it revert back to that much, and that's why we were so bullish about saying, hey guys, set your stop losses. Hey guys, we're setting our stop losses, I should say. We're setting our stop losses on Litecoin. We're gonna sell out of Litecoin. We don't see Litecoin going up. We see Litecoin going down. And we got crap for it. People were messaging us in my comments. I got like 30 hate messages saying, dude, you don't understand. Litecoin's gonna go to like 3,000. You're gonna miss out. This summer Litecoin is gonna be like a quarter of what Bitcoin is worth, and this and that. And I'm just like, all right, we'll see. If Litecoin gets to a quarter of Bitcoin, then great. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm happy that other people are making money in the space, but I just don't see it personally. And I don't want to say I was right, but guys, it looks like shit right now.
Yeah, you don't have.
I'm sorry to say it just looks like shit right now. It's $119, guys. It looks terrible, and its Satoshi value is dropping, which is the critical point, which I keep trying to harbor down, guys. When we first talked about Litecoin was at 2.1. Now it's at 1.5, guys. It's at 0.0159 now. This is what matters, guys. It's value against Bitcoin, and its value against Bitcoin is what determines the overall SA of the market. When a coin's value against Bitcoin is strong and it slowly rises up, like BNB, for example, it means that the overall market is favoring this coin, and that whether Bitcoin goes down or not in terms of dollar value, it's at least staying its position. And that's what we want. We want a coin that's going to stay its position during the drops, and that when it starts rising up, the market starts rising up, it shoots upwards. Litecoin is failing to do so. It's actually dropping Satoshi value. So
yeah, I actually have that chart out right now, and it's just so what you're looking for in a chart like this is you want to see a breakout of the descending trend line, which is what I just drew right there. That's your descending trend line. So it's kind of skimming the tops of all of your peaks, and we're not seeing that, and that's not good. It's very bad. So let me try to. So I've switched the chart. Before we were looking at Litecoin in USD, right? That's how much it cost in dollars. Now we're looking at Litecoin in comparison to Bitcoin, and we're just seeing this like consistent downward, descending wedge. And so essentially we're beating this support over and over again, all the way back to here, all the way back to what is that? January. It's just beating on this support, beating it, and the support's not going to last forever. It's just, they can't. So either Litecoin needs to do something, or it's going to do nothing. Kind of a simple thing to say, but when your money's involved, that's something to think about.
Yeah, correct. And I understand that some people say that Litecoin is going to go up in the future and whatnot. Yeah, Litecoin could go up in the future. I don't say it can't go up in the future, guys. I understand that it could very well do so, but I'm just letting you know right now, the only thing that's holding Litecoin up is Bitcoin. It's Big Brother Bitcoin. That's the only reason why Litecoin is $119 right now. If Bitcoin goes down to like $6,000, Litecoin's gonna go down to like $100. That's just how it is. It's holding with Bitcoin.
Hey, did somebody up there? Do I hear someone talk about Litecoin, my favorite coin?
Oh God,
Jesus! It's Billy Bob.
I was wondering where he was. I thought I thought Memorial Day would put him out.
No, man, I heard people talk about Litecoin, so I woke up and I brushed all the leaves aside that I was sleeping on, and I fed the squirrels, and I came in to look at the chart. And all I'm saying is this Litecoin, and I think it's going to go up. You know why? I tell you why. Because where my squirrels sleep, they'll have a specific pattern where they leave all their young ones. And all them young ones are eating all that food and they're leaving all that dookie. So I look at the patterns in the dookie. And when I look at them patterns, that's when I know. I said, Litecoin going to go up to one quarter the price of Bitcoin. That's how it's going to go, and that's how I know.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great?
I don't know who's better, you or Schizo Lizard.
Oh, you mean you mean Gypto liver?
Gypto Lizard, Gypto liver.
Oh God! You know, guys, just remember, you know, we like woo woo, guys. I know for a fact that Cowboy likes woo woo. It's fun. You know, it's you know, some stuff has some truth to it to a certain degree. However, when it comes to your money, when it comes to your financial freedom, when it comes to your retirement fund, your kids' college tuition, your bills. Personally, for me, I cannot put my money where my woo woo is. I'm sorry. It's just, I think that's absurd. And as an engineer, I cannot design for that in my head. I can't design for that to go by woo woo on where my money goes. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the only people that should be putting money where their woo woo is are like, massage parlor workers or something like that.
Exactly. It just doesn't bode well, guys. You can't look at the stars and determine where Litecoin's price is. I mean, it's a load of shit. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just that now if you have data to back it up, if you have I know Cliff was pretty accurate with his predictive linguistics, and that did work for a while. It seems like Cliff has backed off. So I mean, Cliff.
He's backed off because he says that now that the market, guys. Let me just tell you this right now. The market that Cliff started doing these analysis for cryptos is different than it is now. Now we're starting to get these big players coming in that are essentially range bounding Bitcoin, that have put so much money into the game that it is now being artificially pushed up and down. So you cannot essentially use that kind of data sets anymore towards predicting where prices are going to go, because now the market is actually being artificially moved.
Did Cliff actually say that? Because that was what my theory was. But did Cliff actually say that's why?
Cliff did. A few other people that follow Cliff pretty closely stated that as well. I think he might have stated that his data has been not corrupted. I don't want to say the word corrupted, but his data has not been as accurate anymore because at the end of the day, the market is being manipulated.
Well, I mean, he's
he did say that. He did. Danny did say that. He said that.
Okay, so that makes sense, because Cliff always had a hard time calling like silver and stocks, and we know silver is extremely manipulated. So it's kind of like Cliff has these eyes into this other dimension where manipulation doesn't exist. And for a while in crypto, up until last year, it didn't. And his calls, I mean, I make money off of Cliff's calls. I actually like other stuff that Cliff talks about, like C60. I manufacture C60. Like Cliff is the man. So I got nothing but respect for Cliff, and I love Bix and all that. And so we're not putting down all that. I just don't put my money where the woo is. I put my money on technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and sentiment analysis, and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do, guys. It's just that simple. And yeah, so just my thoughts, guys, is that Cliff said that the remote viewers and psychics have clouded the data.
God. I didn't cloud nothing. The only thing I ever clouded was I ate that burrito and I clouded up the room with my smell.
You gotta get Billy Bob evicted, man.
I know. He's Billy Bob.
You gotta move to Nevada or something, dude. Nevada is very pro the rent, not the renter, but the owner.
I ain't getting into nobody's way. All I do is I got that little tarp all set up in the backyard, there's a little table out there, and I sleep with my squirrels. I don't bother nobody. I said, Billy Bob, you're bothering me on the show. You gotta get out. Get out now. Later, y'all.
Oh God.
All right, gentlemen, we're at the end of the program. Closing comments, Cowboy, go for it, and then Z.
Oh yeah, so I just want to end the show by acknowledging a lot of people who are brave enough to jump into the market. We do have some experienced traders that are getting the entertainment in our room as well. Well, what's really cool is we have a lot of people who are new to the game. And, it takes a lot of bravery to take your money and invest it when you've never done that before. So I do want to acknowledge the people who had, the balls to do that. That's just something that's amazing. And without those people, without you brave people, and without you experienced traders who are also brave and amazing too, the Crypto Z and I, we don't have a job. We have other jobs, but not this one. And this is kind of like what we love to do. So I want to acknowledge everybody and thank you all. I want to thank V and Z, and I want to thank everybody. I'm just in a state of gratitude. And then before I go, if you guys actually want to come check us out, or you know what, I'm going to not say that. I'm going to let V say that. So I'll just look at the screen while you all talk.
Mm-hmm. And guys, just so you know, you guys will be, we will be coming out from the spot, I guess from the shadows, you would call it, or some people have stated that hey, we remain anonymous. We aren't going to be remaining anonymous very soon, guys.
Not for long.
Not for long. Once our platform fully launches, guys, we will be, you will see exactly what we look like and so forth, and yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. So, we choose to stay anonymous right now because V has some things that he's working on that he essentially
corporate relationships.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's only a matter of time, guys. It's actually going to be sooner than what you guys really expect. So just understand.
Absolutely. Z merely adopted the dark. I was born by it, molded by it, until I came to the light and found it blinding.
Exactly, and you'll even get to see who Billy Bob is. So, stand by for that, guys. but anyways, guys, my closing comments are that yes, I will have more opportunities coming out with Venn, guys. So don't miss out on those. Remember that there's one thing to be a part of the Venn program. That's great and all, but if you're part of the Venn program, do you get first dibs on the Venn ICOs? You do. However, you also have to be inside the Watchers Trade Room, guys. Personally, because there's so many people invested into the Venn X node, I cannot, go out of my way to email people out saying that, hey, look, we have this Venn ICO coming out. It's just, there's too many people, guys. I'm so sorry for doing that, but I just cannot do that. There's just way too many people. So, stick inside the Watchers Trade Room, guys. You guys will have first access to these ICOs, and I've got a feeling these ICOs are going to do massive gain, guys. These are the ones that I personally think are going to do like the 10 to 20 to even potentially even the 25x gains, guys. These are like life-changing gains. And so, just like one. And so, yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's how it goes.
You trade like a younger man.
With nothing held back.
Admirable, but mistaken.
God.
All right, folks. With that being said, this is V. This is Cowboy NZ. We are over and out. Take it away, El Cuco. Thank you, CJ.